cropping seasons or agriculture pattern in India. India has three main crop seasons which are most influenced by the changing seasons. They are number one, Kharif season, number two, Rabi season, and number three is the Jayad season. So now let's talk about the Kharif. Kharif crops are sown generally at the beginning of the monsoon rain, that is between May to June, and harvested after the monsoon in September to October. So let's see the examples of the Kharif crop. The crops which are grown during the seasons are jawar, paddy, bajra, groundnut, and jute. So therefore, Kharif crops means those crops which are grown during the summer season. Number two, Rabi. Rabi crops are sown at the beginning of the cool season, that is between October to December, and harvested between February and April. So they include, or the crops which are grown are wheat, barley, linseed, potato, and peas. And the last one, the third type, is a Jayad. So it is the extra crop grown by farmers to supplement their income. It has a short growing period between the harvest of the Rabi crop and the sowing of the Kharif crop. So usually it's sown between March to April and harvested between June to July. And its main products are seasonal fruits and vegetables, like you can see out here, pumpkin, cucumber, and bitter gourd. So now let's see the major crops of India. So in India, the crops are classified under two heads, like two types of crops are grown. Number one is a food crop and number two is a cash crop. Now let's talk about the food crop. These crops are grown for human consumption, like rice, wheat, millet, and pulses. And second one is the cash crops. So these crops are grown to earn money. That means they are meant for sale. And cash crop can be categorized as oil seeds. So under oil seeds, we have groundnut, mustard, and soya bean. And under beverage, we have tea and coffee. And fiber, we have cotton and jute, and others, we have sugar cane, rubber, etc. So now let's explain or let's learn about rice, which is the most important food crop. So rice, as we know, it is a Kharif crop. That means it's grown during the summer season. It is the staple food of the people. Second point, it is a tropical as well as a subtropical crop. Number three, it is a versatile crop and can be grown in different parts of India so long as the temperature and water conditions are satisfactory. Like it can be grown on different altitudes, from the hill terrace of Kashmir to lowland areas of Kerala in South India. Now see the climatic conditions for the cultivation of rice. It requires an average temperature of about 24 degrees Celsius when ripening. So with a range between 22 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius. It requires a rainfall of 150 centimeter to 200 centimeters, and it needs flooded field during the early part of its growing season, and slight rain before ripening helps in increasing the size of the grains. Now let's see the soil. So it requires alluvial topsoil, clayey impervious subsoil. Now one thing you have to note out here means why rice grow well in a soil with a clay-like subsoil. Rice needs flooded field, as you know as it. And the subsoil of clay does not allow the water to percolate. As you already know the feature of the clay soil. Remember the black soil, isn't it? It can retain moisture because of its clayey composition. Now let's see the method of cultivation. There are two methods of cultivation. Number one is a dry system that is confined to areas which depend on rain. And number two is the puddled or the wet method. And this method is practiced in areas which have assured and adequate supply of water. Now, sowing of seeds. So, following methods of rice cultivation are practiced in India. Number one, broadcasting method or scattering. So it is the scattering of the seeds by hand over the soil. That means how they sow the seeds means by sprinkling them all over the field by hand. And this method is generally used to sow inferior quality of seeds, and therefore the yield is low. Number two, drilling method. So how the seeds are sown in this method? Seeds are sown in the furrows with the help of a drill made of bamboo. So this is how it is done. Like while using the plow, okay, seeds are dropped through a bamboo shaft which is attached to it in the furrow made by the plow in a straight line. And this method, though saving wastage of seed, is very time consuming. That means it takes a lot of time, and it's mostly practiced in Tamil Nadu in peninsular India. Now let's see the third one, dibbling method. Now seeds are dropped at a regular interval in the furrows with the help of a dibber or a plow. Now what is a dibber? Means it is a simple pointed stick that is used to make a hole in the ground to plant a seed. And this is also, it takes a lot of time. It's a time consuming. So now let's see. Here you can see the picture of broadcasting seeder machine, and here a drilling machine. Now fourth one, which is a very important method, like it's a transplantation method. Now let's talk about the features of this method. Number one, seeds are sown in nurseries. Number two, in this method, okay, like first of all, in this method, seeds are first sown in nursery after soaking the seeds in water for 24 hours. Now, after 4 weeks, when the seedlings are about 20 centimeter tall, they are uprooted and they are planted in the flooded field so that they can grow again. Now, last point which you have to remember is, as this entire process is done by hand, a lot of manual labor is required. Now, see the advantages of this method. Number one, only healthy plants are picked for resowing. Number two, weeds are removed while resowing. Number three, less wastage of seeds. And number four, the overall advantage is that this method gives higher yield. So you can see the picture of transplantation of paddy. Now, Japanese method of cultivation. So this method includes number one, use of good quality seeds. Number two, sowing the seeds in raised nursery beds. Number three, transplanting the seedlings in rows. Use of manure to obtain higher yield. And like you have to remember out here, the last point, this method ensures 3 times higher yield. Hence, it has been successfully adopted by many rice cultivation regions in Asia. Now, harvesting and processing. Harvesting of rice is done by hand. The cut crop is then left in the field to dry for a period of about, like say, 3 to 4 days. Then after that, it is stressed and trampled by the bullocks to separate the kernel from the seed. The rice is then sent for polishing. And what does polishing means? By polishing, the rice may look better, but important nutrients are lost in the process. and hand pounded rice is thus considered better and more nutritious. Now, major rice producing states. So we have number one, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Punjab, Orissa, and Uttar Pradesh. Now let's have a look at the map out here. You can see the colors which have been given out there, two major, and the one is a major, the other one is a minor. So now rice is grown in varying degrees in almost all parts of the country, except, like you can see there, higher parts of the Himalayas in the extreme north. So broadly speaking, the premier rice producing areas are: number one is the lower and the middle Gangetic plains, number two, Brahmaputra Valley, number three, east and western coastal plains, and the last one is the parts of peninsular plateau, especially Tamil Nadu.